koa pau. I'm Kai Upua Fife, once again coming to you with another segment of Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's Future, brought to you by the Koani Foundation. This segment is coming from Hawaii Prep Academy here in Waimea on Hawaii Island, in conjunction with the Hawaii Project. So this morning we have with us Marie McDonald and Rowan McDonald Hufford. Must be a relationship between the two with McDonald Hufford.
I'm the pretty one.
Okay, that's the difference. That's the relationship that we have. And Marie, mahalo for being with us. And Rowan, thank you for breaking away. I know that Wednesday is your day here, and so I'm glad that we could take a few minutes to let our viewing audience know who you are. What our whole point is to motivate our watchers, our video audience, if they don't already have some compulsion that they're enthralled with, whether it's art or community or politics or whatever, if they don't know what their responsibility is in their community, they need to find out what it is. And so we interview people from a broad spectrum of skills and expertise, and hopefully somebody sitting at home is going to see somebody and be encouraged to get up and start doing something. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole point. And so we realize that you folks are here today because of what you can bring to this terrific project and to the education in the area of arts going into the future, because I see this as being a big future movement.
Yeah.
And so we'd like to kind of start out with, Marie, if you could kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to share. It doesn't have to be scandalous or anything you want to not talk about.
I want to be scandalous.
Oh, okay. Then
that's okay.
Then we can go there.
Yeah. Well, I'm Hawaiian.
Okay.
You know.
That's okay. It's okay to be Hawaiian today.
I grew up on Molokai, and I was educated at Kamehameha, and then I went on to higher education on the mainland, in Texas in particular. And I have a degree in art education, and I'm a teacher. I really am an educator, a teacher, and I'm involved in this program because I want to pass on some of the information and the skills that I have acquired over the years to the next generation.
Right.
You know, so.
Or two generations, because we have quite a larger age span here present.
And that's my whole reason for being here. I wanted to share that so the next generation and the generation after will be able to use whatever skills and information that I've acquired. Okay?
And Rowan is here because she was given no alternative.
That's right. I was given no alternative. I had to participate. No, I've ever since I was a child, I was a nice little shadow, and I did everything that my mother did. I was the experiment there. If she had an idea about something, she tried it out on me. And if I grasped the idea or I got the skills, then she knew she was headed in the right direction. So I happily went along all these years. I'm nearly 60, and so I've acquired a lot of the skills right alongside my mother.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, we run experiments together. We can discard the things that are not useful to us and keep the things that we find useful to ourselves. So while I say sometimes that I was forced, I was coerced, I did it happily.
It's in humor that you make that comment. Right. Well, let me ask you something. Is there a particular moment in time in your evolution when you realized that you were a guinea pig, your mother's guinea pig, or did it just kind of happen?
No, it was just part of the way.
Life, huh?
Yeah, it was the way I grew up. You know, I mean, if we went hiking and there were flowers, we made leis, or there were fruit to pick, then we ate them. So if there were, my mother worked on a playground for many, many years, and the atmosphere on a playground is very different than from a formal classroom where she has also worked. So people come there because they're they want to fill their leisure time with something really, really interesting, something that they've never experienced before. So as a child, I made kites, I decorated Easter eggs, I made leis, I did textile design, I did all those things because they were fun. They
And
were there.
involvement
Yeah,
stuff, huh? Involvement.
right. And oftentimes the things that we did involved using natural materials. And so I find myself at this time in life really being connected to plants and the earth. For a living, I'm a farmer. I grow vegetables, I grow food, you know, one of the most basic of things. And for fun, I grow flowers and make flower arrangements. You know, I feed my soul and my heart, and I make kapa now. In times of old, that was one of the basic necessities. But
Right.
you know, it's a necessity for me now to get out that creative urge that's there. You know, I have to satisfy it. There's no denying it, and it's there in everybody. And sometimes they just need a little push. You know,
Yeah.
they just need a little idea. They just need to see that if you rub a flower on a piece of cloth, it'll make color, and then they get excited about
Right.
something. So it's the same thing with me.
Yeah. Fan the flame and
Right, my
The
mother.
image built.
My mother exposed me as well as my siblings to all of that. We went along with her and did everything that she did. It was her job, but it was certainly a lot of fun. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, you mentioned farming, and how much, I mean, do you farm and generate enough produce to go beyond the needs of your family, or do you primarily consume what you grow yourself? And
I sell my food.
okay, so
I sell
you're
food.
Right.
That's
you're
how
really-
we earn. My husband and I earn our living. We're dirt farmers.
And
And
you
then-
support their family on
We
that.
support our family, and
Okay.
we provide food for the people in our community.
Okay.
It's also part of this whole social system that I think many people have lost by going to a grocery store.
Right. Food sovereignty
Yeah,
kind of a
well,
thing.
what happens is that the largest part of our income comes from direct-to-consumer sales. So
Okay, so no
we
in between,
meet our
no middleman.
neighbors. Yeah, we meet
Yeah.
our neighbors every week when they come to get something to eat from us. And it's part of our social interaction. You know, it's part of our community work, and that it satisfies a lot of our need for socialization
Yeah.
by selling the food and
Sure.
then greeting people and
Yeah.
knowing what they like, that kind of thing. We also know that, you know, there's some people who don't have enough money, or they really want to support farmers, so they come and support us by buying our food. So, you know, it's a nice exchange there. Sometimes people don't have enough money. We say, well, next time.
Yeah, catch
but
us next
you
time.
remember, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember.
Yeah, right.
So you know, it's a nice way for us to live. So
Well, I was trying to get a feeling for the scope of your farming.
Yeah,
and,
well, we-
because if you're growing enough to sell to others, then I'm thinking, well, you
That's
know,
a lot
dawn
of
to dusk,
work.
how do you have time for art?
You
and
make
those kind of
the
things.
time. You make it because you have a need,
Uh-huh.
you know, to express for yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to make that to fulfill yourself. You know.
Yeah, nurse that other hunger. Huh?
Yes.
Because farming is hard work, and I don't have to tell you folks. So it takes a lot of energy to be alive and do things you enjoy, plus do things that are necessary to exist, doesn't it?
Yeah.
when people come to our farm, you know, the thing now is to have farm tours, so
Yeah.
you can get to know your farm and you
Right.
can see how your food is grown and all that kind of thing. We put the art slant on it and the culture slant on it by also showing people how we grow our own raw materials to make art. And oftentimes they'll find that very fascinating too.
Sure.
We'll point out the wauke, and we'll talk about how the Hawaiians beat their clothing out of this plant, and we'll point out various dye materials, and we'll talk about how they made color out of those plants. And to remind people that at a time life consisted of having something to eat, having something to wear, fixing your house, so it
Shelter,
could
yeah.
provide you with shelter. And then there was time to relax and dance and sing. And we need to think about that now, you know. So we earn our day is filled with growing our food and earning our living. And then there's a time in the day where we take care of some of our cultural interests. And there's a time of the day where we just sit and just relax. And it's a nice way to live. It is difficult,
Yeah.
and to find enough time to do all of it, but we're managing.
Yeah. Tremendous energy it takes.
I'm active in the growing and the production of the art supplies. The,
Such as?
yeah, such as wauke.
Right.
You know, we grow our own wauke. We grow some of the dye materials that we need, like olena, and we grow kukui and couple of the native plants like Delicia, which is an endangered species, but because we use it for ourselves and we grow it for ourselves, we
Right.
don't retail or sell that.
Right.
We can use it, so you know, to make dyes. So
Right.
We grow ferns and flowers
yes,
to make lace.
that's yeah.
That's part of what we do too.
Actually, my husband and I started this farm, and we were flower growers because I was a lay maker, you
Right.
know, and I wanted to grow my own materials. And I encourage others to do that. I've done that throughout my teaching career, throughout
Right.
my
Sure.
life. You grow your own. If you're going to do an art project that is Hawaiian, especially, then you have to make sure that you have a source of materials. That you
yeah.
don't have to raid a forest
Yeah.
to get it.
Or buy it from someone
you
else.
also learn the natural schedule of how nature works. You
Right.
know, sometimes you can use things and sometimes you can't
cannot.
because they're
Right.
not available. So you learn the natural rhythms of nature and the environment. We've been very careful to take them right to the farm, to see how the wauke grows, to walk in the patch, to cut it, to clean it, to
Maintain your
maintain
plants.
it. We did all of that.
Right.
We also had to provide some of that right from the first day, already stripped. So
Right.
now they have the raw material that they've gathered from our wauke patch,
Right.
and they clean it every day. And every day we say, okay, you need to clean today. You need to soak your wauke. You need to beat it. You know, you need to work on your ohekapala. You need to work on your dyes. And every day it's just we do it again and again and again. And I think it's been a week and a half now.
Right,
And I think they're getting into the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
And that, you know, it doesn't happen in 45 minutes.
No.
It doesn't happen in, you know, a 2-session class.
Right.
They'll just barely cover it in this 4-week session. But they'll also take home with them starts that they took from our farm to plant their own wauke, so they don't have to raid somebody else's
Right.
patch. They'll be able to cultivate it themselves,
Right.
and they'll take that experience that they had on our farm and you know,
Put it to
apply
good
it.
use,
Yeah,
yeah.
apply it to their own plants and take all the experiences that they've had with us every day and actually make some beautiful pieces of cloth. So.
And that's what we're aiming. We're turning them, helping to set their sights on producing beautiful artwork.
Right.
You know, that's what we want from
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
And that is what they want also. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been here. You know, they wouldn't have come here.
Oh yeah, and you know the meeting the students and the other kumu too. I mean, it's clear that these are pretty special people who are here. There are a lot more who need to be here, and I guess over the next couple of years there will be more people
Yeah.
involved.
Well, this is the
Because
first
it's a big
class.
project. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first class, and hopefully, when other people hear about this, they'll support this kind of activity. And right now, we're borrowing facilities, and sometimes it's difficult. But HBA has given us a good facility to
Yeah,
work in.
and
But
they've been
it
very
would be
good
nice
to
if
us.
we had, you know, we were just talking about it this morning. I said, when we get our real school, when we get our real building, we need to have a big lanai where we can be.
And
there's
I
lots of
said to her, I'm going to interrupt. I said to her, That's exactly what I was thinking about last
Yeah,
night.
exactly. You
That's
got the message.
Exactly.
You got
So
the message.
hopefully, this will come to fruition soon, so other people can take advantage of this experience.
Well, I think the equipment and the facility here is terrific. But my understanding is at the end of the 4th week, everything's got to be moved out because there are more things happening here. So,
Yeah.
and I like the long-term goal essentially of evolving this into a fine arts Hawaiian educational curriculum. You know, I think that's fantastic because
For post high school.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And there are so many other centers or facilities that are geared to educating, and preparing the pre-high school people. So this is for post high school.
yeah. You're talking about
Well, actually, the program doesn't stop just after a month.
no.
The program will continue on. The students will take what they've learned and they'll continue to work independently. We're going to take what they've learned, how to produce something which is saleable. That's part of it. It
Right.
needs to be saleable somehow. So this can be something that they can help to generate income for
Sure,
themselves.
have to be able to sustain
right,
themselves. Yeah.
Exactly. So they'll check back in October. At the first week of October, there's going to be a Hawaiian market, which will be featuring Hawaiian art, Hawaiian fine art. So they'll be able to learn how to market the pieces that they've made, how to prepare them for a display, how to hang that display, how to set up their goods for sale, how do you make them, how do you sell them,
Yeah.
how do you price
And
them,
how to
Right.
price them.
how
yes.
to price them, how to get out there and, put it out to the public, tell people about what they're doing. So they'll be part of organizing it and putting on the Hawaiian market as well as being vendors, if you will, in that market.
And the artisans who created the
And
product.
the artisans who created that. Okay, so then it doesn't stop there. It goes all the way to a winter session where they'll come back and they'll have, by that time, developed a portfolio, a body of work that can be assessed by another body of people who are well versed in the arts.
Evaluated.
Right,
Yeah.
evaluated. And they'll be able to stand up and verbalize what their goals were and or what they learned in this process and have actual pieces to show for it.
A presentation. They'll be
A
doing a presentation.
presentation.
Yeah. The Native Hawaiian Education Council, when it organized and developed its mission and its vision and so forth, one of the most important components was to establish a Native Hawaiian education system, and I see this as one of the upper level components of the arts as a viable means of not only expressing themselves creatively, but to
Making a living,
earn
making
a
a
living,
living.
make a
What's
living. out of it.
interesting about this system is that you're not going to find these things written down in books. They're written down in people who actually
Right.
practice them.
Right.
So you have the kumu, it's the imihaku
Right,
system. So you take the person who has these skills, and he transfers them by example.
Traditional
by-
mentorship
Yeah, right.
type thing, yeah.
This mentorship program. And so that's what's nice about it. Western education is built on that too. You have your professor and things like
Yeah.
that, but it's also built on a scholarly kind of
Approached a little
activity.
bit differently.
Yeah.
I know we
Right.
had we started working with Kapa years ago on Kauai in response to a demand for
Burial.
burials, right, for the reinterment of the EVs, the returning EVs from all over. And so we were doing this imihaku approach without knowing it, because we would get like 4-day sessions where the families who were participating, I mean the families, the great-grandchildren, all the way up, makua grandmother, great-grandmother, would get together down at the beach or wherever at a beach house, and we'd work for 4 days on kapa or the tools, making the tools. I mean, that's a whole nother component. I mean, you not only have to grow the raw materials, you have to have the tools.
And then
so,
you got to make
yeah,
the colors.
then you have to do the dyes,
Yeah.
and I mean, that's just to get, that's one part of the process, and then you get to the other end that you're talking about, distribution and marketing and so forth. But we found that, if you want to get find out who the people are who are going to stay with us. You get together in that kind of a setting, and you have family members there, and over time, some people are going to be really attracted to it, and they're going to stick with it. Others may go on to something else, but at least you'll identify who can stay with it. But some people just like to make the tools, and we're seeing, experts here in that. So
And that's happening here too,
Right.
because we have some young men that are going to be the tool makers.
Sure,
They
yeah.
are.
It's a
They're not
natural
gonna be-
inclination,
They're
I
not going to
guess.
make the fabric.
No,
They're not going to
no.
make copper.
But they're going to
No.
know. They're
But
going
they're
to know
gonna
how
know
it's
how
done,
it's done.
and they're
Yeah.
going to know how that tool needs to work.
how it
Yeah.
needs to interact with the raw
Right.
material.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a relationship there. I've made the tools, and I've also made copper. I've also grown the Valke and maintained it. Go out, pluck them, and make sure that you don't have too many bugs. So I think I got a pretty good overall perspective of it, but I have never gotten my copper to the degree of fine finish. I've never been able to get it to that. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
I think.
well, some of us also.
Yeah,
I've never been able to get the very pure, white, even, see-through
yeah,
kind of copper.
right.
I've not even been able to get the color or the very light, airy. I've not been able to do that.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
but I can do other finishes, other textures that work very well.
Yeah, yeah.
For what I need.
Yeah.
What I need.
I'm very confident that this is going to achieve its goals, and going to be looking forward to seeing the outcome. And some of these check back meetings are going to be interesting. But I think from seeing the individuals who are here, the students, I think they're going to stick with it and come
Well,
through.
there was one activity that went on before Hawaiian, and that was called Pico.
Pico, yep.
And it was held here in 2007, 2
Right.
years ago. And those were mainly, the people who gathered were from all across the Pacific, as far away as Madagascar. And they were all practicing artisans or students who had been working at it for quite a while. And the energy in that activity, they were all disciplines. The energy in that activity was so exciting. I mean, everybody couldn't wait to get past the opening protocols and get to
work.
work.
Yeah, get to it.
And then when it was time to shut down, there was so much to say about. Everybody had to share
Right.
what their experience was
Yeah.
like, and
I heard the
many-
closing day went on and on and
on
on and on and on.
and
Yeah.
on, because there was so much to go over about what people got from the activity. So
Well, and then too, my understanding is that Pico was kind of a beginning element of this, in that they were able to sort out who they wanted for the next step to help participate in the next step. So it's kind of a vetting process, also. So, and that's that's why I say it's all kind of related.
there needed to be a school to continue this, and we knew that as part of that school there needed to be some kind of gallery space, not just the workshop to make the stuff,
Right.
but a gallery space so the work can be shown. And
We also knew that if we wanted some of those things, we had to be a part of it.
Right.
To promote it.
Yeah. And you had to make a commitment to
Yeah.
making that happen. The gallery, the gallery segment later on in the year, has a venue already been picked, or still working on that? Where they're going to be able to exhibit? Do you know? Is there anything in the plans yet on that?
well, right now
Yeah.
everything is temporary.
Yeah.
You go
Yeah.
in and you use an existing space and transform it and make it work for you. But we'd like to. I think the long-term goal is also to have a permanent gallery
yeah,
space
yeah.
where
Sure.
the work can be shown.
Yeah. I'm confident that's going to come
Just
about.
as we hope to have a permanent school, a permanent area to,
Right.
in
Yeah.
which to work.
No, I'm sure that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that support has been so great, and the achievements are going to be acknowledged. I think it's going to achieve what it intends to achieve, and I think that things are going to come on, as they sometimes amazingly do when the need comes up, something's there. So it comes from somewhere. If you're doing things right, good things seem to happen. And I'm sure that's going to happen here too. We're just about out of time for this segment, and we
Fine.
appreciate your being able to break away from your class and spend some time with us so that our viewing audience can get to meet you folks and perhaps be
Inspired.
inspired exactly by what you're doing and what the others are doing. If this seems like something for you to get involved in, make yourself known, step forward, get involved. Once again, I'm Kaupua Fife with the Kiwani Foundation, Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's Future, a component of the Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network. Ahui ho.
Mahalo for watching Voices of Truth one-on-one with Hawaii's Future. Watch us on the web 24/7 at voicesoftruthtv.com. You'll find all our shows, including this one, in case you want to see it again or share it with family and friends. Also view our weekly video commentaries at freehawaiitv.com. And check out our blog, published daily, at freehawaii.info. It's all part of the Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network.